Hey guys, welcome back to Loft Sports. I'm Tyler.
I'm Seth.
We're going to be taking a look at some quick predictions of Week 12. Some more great games to look forward to this week in college football.
Yeah.
It all starts big noon kickoff. A disappointing Michigan State team rolls into the big house. Does Michigan get caught sleeping?
So at the beginning of this year, I thought that this was going to be a game that Michigan loses. This was going to be a game that decided the number 2 team in the East. Didn't really figure out to be that way in the end, but I still would like to pull for Michigan State. They have no offense, and that's the only thing stopping me. But in rivalry games, offense is points. There's always something that happens. There's always points produced in those games to keep them close, especially this one. But I just don't trust Michigan State's offense, and I'm going to go with Michigan.
I think Michigan wins this game by like 24 points.
It could get that
Michigan
way.
State is really concerning. If you're a Spartan football fan, you have to be worried. They blew a 25-point lead against Illinois last week.
Yep.
And Illinois won 6 games already this year, which is a shocking thing to know. But my goodness, Michigan State was a potential top 20 team, and they are garbage this year. And this is like 2 or 3 years in a row now. I think the resurgence of Penn State and Michigan being a 9-win team a year is really hurting
You're
Michigan
seeing
State.
the recruiting and the lack of depth, the lack of actual quality across all the fronts for Michigan State start to kind of take a hit. Now, I know Michigan State's never been the team that's actually recruited at that high of a level, but the resurgence has hurt them, and I think it's all part of it when we're looking at it. But Michigan State, the big story with them, top 15, top 20 defense, and no offense to go with it.
That's right. Another big game in the Big Ten East. Maybe a little bit of a surpriser, but Indiana 7-2 on the road against Penn State. Does Penn State get beat by Minnesota twice?
No, I don't think they do. I think Penn State is a good team. I don't think they played their best game. I don't think we're a top 4 team to start that week, though.
Yeah.
But I still think they're a top 10 team. They've been playing great all year. They have a lot of skill position players that can do a lot of things. Indiana can't match that for 4 quarters. It might be close, but I expect Penn State to pull away in the end.
Penn State still has everything to play for. Theoretically, the Minnesota game doesn't hurt them because it was a cross-divisional game. They still control their own destiny to Indy. If they win out, they will be going to the Big Ten Championship.
Yep,
now, I know a lot of people don't think they're going to walk into the horseshoe and win, but theoretically, Penn State still controls their own destiny. I don't think they'll lose this game. I think they'll rebound and they'll beat Indiana. An impressive Indiana team, but Penn State too much. Notre Dame hosting Navy. This is kind of an under-the-radar game. Navy is 7-1. Yeah. Do you think my Irish get some trouble from the midshipmen?
Definitely some trouble, but I still think Notre Dame wins. I think this is your classic. Notre Dame wins by like 4 points a deal. Just that ugly win where Navy might even be driving late. Then they finally have to throw and you get like a game-saving interception or something like that.
Yeah,
We've seen it before. You guys aren't consistent enough every single week to just overlook a team that's this hard to prepare for given a short week.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame will win, but it'll be everything you said. It'll be a close one, and we'll have to pull away late. If you want more in-depth, watch my preview on that. Wake Forest theoretically controlled their own destiny, but they got beat last week by Virginia Tech. Yep. But do they mount an upset over Clemson?
I don't think they do. I mean, let's be honest. I think Clemson being outside of the top 4 in the initial playoff rankings kind of lit a fire under their ass a little bit. Clemson is one of the best 4 teams in the country. Wake is having a great year by their standards, but they are nowhere near Clemson. I think it's a rout.
Yeah, Clemson should win this game by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If Virginia Tech can score 36 on Wake, what do you think Clemson's going to do?
Exactly.
And Wake's offense can score in bunches, but Clemson's defense, they haven't seen anything like it this year.
It's a different beast, for
and
sure.
It's at Clemson.
Yeah.
Big one in the SEC, Georgia and Auburn. I believe this game is down on the plains at Auburn. Upset. This would ruin Georgia's season.
I don't think it's necessarily going to be an upset. I think it's going to be a close game, great SEC, kind of that typical. Someone might win by 7, 10 points, even if it feels like it should be more. I do expect that team to be Georgia, though, to come out with the victory.
You know, this game is tough because this is the kind of matchup where Georgia struggles, and their offense, when they play Florida, and they always have a game where they're up, and they had a little bit of an up against Missouri, too. Are they going to have 3 weeks in a row where their offense performs? I'm hesitant to say yes, but I just think that the SEC is still going to find a way to get 2 teams in this playoff, so I got to pick Georgia for that reason. I think I would not be shocked if Auburn wins this game, but Auburn cannot move the ball. Georgia's got an elite defense. I'm going to pick Georgia, but I think this is going to be ugly, like a 13-12.
It could very well be that. I was thinking something like 20-14, so I mean, not too far off.
Yeah, NFL scoreline there.
For sure.
Big one in the Big 12, elimination game in terms of trying to be the second team to get to the conference championship. Texas and Iowa State, both teams have to win.
I mean, you said it. Both teams have to win. I actually do like Iowa State in this game. I think Texas is just too inconsistent. They do things that cost you games, and it seems like Iowa State is always in the right position to capitalize on those things. They just don't have the talent to really take it over at all the times. But I like Iowa State in this game. A couple key turnovers, some big plays, some timely scores. I like Iowa State.
I think Iowa State's going to win, too.
Yeah.
Texas should have lost to Kansas State last week. They're just not playing very well. I'm a little concerned about Tom Herman. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. Maybe we'll do a season recap at the end of the year for some of the bigger programs. I'm disappointed in Texas. I thought they'd be better this year. I think they lose in Ames on Saturday. Minnesota, storyline of the year in the Big Ten, maybe.
Yeah.
Can they keep it going? They go on the road now to Iowa.
This is their first loss of the year. I know they're probably a better team than Iowa. After that emotional high they were just on last week, everyone is thinking, oh, Minnesota's back. Players hey, we're finally getting the recognition. You cannot let that mindset get the best of you going in to Iowa. You just can't do that. Iowa's one of those teams that does everything right. They're always in the right spots. I know Iowa's offense is absolutely anemic. It's not like Minnesota has this great elite defense, though. I do think this is going to be one of the first games Minnesota's offense is actually, for the most part, shut down, and they can't get the running game going like they like. I like Iowa with the late field goal here to win the game.
College football giveth, and college football taketh away.
Yeah.
This is a classic upset trap game for Minnesota. You just beat a top 5 team at home. Now you go on the road against a team that probably won't be ranked, but is right there in that neighborhood of being ranked.
Definitely a tough out. A tough out.
I think Minnesota's going to win this game in overtime or double overtime. I think PJ Fleck is good enough of a coach to get his guys back focused and where they need to be. Iowa's offense is garbage. They can't score on teams, and I think that Minnesota is going to make it to 10-0. I really do. I think Minnesota's going to keep it rolling. Big one in the Big 12, Oklahoma and Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, this is the collision course we've been on the last few weeks here. I do like Oklahoma in this game, though. I just think there's too much talent across the board, and Lincoln Riley is, I think, just that much better of a coach. I like Oklahoma in this one. It'll be a back and forth. This is going to be your typical Big Ten game where the team that wins is in the 50s and the other team is in the 40s sort of game. Something like a 56-45 here would be something that's not too crazy to me, but I do have Oklahoma winning this.
I think Oklahoma blows them out. I think Baylor's offense is going to get exposed. Their defense is going to get exposed. Baylor has not played an elite team in the Big 12 yet. They've kind of skated by on the average teams, just kind of getting out of Dodge with wins. I'm impressed with Baylor. They deserve all the credit, but they're not a top 10 team. I'm not sure they're even a top 15 team. They haven't impressed me against the lesser competition that they've played. And granted, they're 9-0, and they deserve credit for that, but I think Oklahoma's going to slap them around, and Baylor's going to get exposed. 2 quick picks. Do we have an upset in the Pac-12? UCLA at Utah and Arizona at Oregon.
No, I think that's just the continuing collision course there. Utah and Oregon win.
I agree. I think UCLA, though, is playing better right now. That's a dangerous game for Utah, but I think the Utes survive. Oregon will trash Arizona. Kevin Sumlin not impressive in the second year.
No, he might even be out at the end of this year. You'd like to think they'd give him more time, but it could happen. A lot of firings have been going around lately.
That's true. All right, guys, that's our picks for Week 12. This is Tyler and Seth with Loft Sports signing off.